Tomorrow is officially the first day of the 23-24 Premier League campaign. I'm so excited for this season. A lot of stuff's in store on the channel, a lot of stuff on the horizon. But let's get into match week 1 in the Premier League, starting with the first game of the season, Burnley versus Man City. Burnley versus Manchester City is going to be an entertaining affair. Vincent Kompany is going to be hosting his former club that he captained at Turf Moor. He's managing Burnley now. Burnley has a very attractive style of play. They like to attack. City is the best team in the world at the moment. I think it's going to be an absolutely tantalizing game. I'm going to predict a 2-1 City win. I think Burnley will get rocking. I think they'll get a goal, but City will ultimately get the win. 2-1 for Manchester City. On to Saturday, which will see Arsenal host Nottingham Forest at the Emirates. This is another game that I think is going to be pretty interesting. Nottingham Forest has some interesting players there. Taiwo Awoniyi, the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White, etc. But it's Arsenal. Arsenal will win this game, but I think it'll be like a 2-0 win probably for Arsenal. Oh, I forgot to mention the goal scorers. I think we'll see Haaland score a goal and some random City midfielder. And honestly, I just have a feeling that someone like Bayer is going to score for Burnley, like a defender or something like that. But for Arsenal, I think we'll see goals from Bukayo Saka and maybe Trossard off the bench. But 2-0 for Arsenal at the Emirates. Next up is Bournemouth versus West Ham. Two teams that honestly are going to have some up and downs throughout this Premier League season. There's going to be some high highs for both of them and some low lows, I think. Andoni Iraola is now the new coach of Bournemouth. He was coaching Rayo Vallecano back in the in La Liga, and now he's coaching Bournemouth in the Premier League. I have a feeling that this game will ultimately end. Honestly, I could see this game ending like 1-1 or 1-0 for Bournemouth. I think Solanke will score for Bournemouth. And for West Ham, I have a feeling that, yeah, I think they'll finish 1-1. I have a feeling that someone like, I don't even know, probably Antonio will score, or Bowen. I'm going to say Bowen scores for West Ham and Solanke scores for Bournemouth in a 1-1 draw. Brighton versus Luton. I'm sorry, Luton fans, if there's any of you guys watching this, but I think Luton is going to get beat pretty badly. I think it's going to be a 3-0 Brighton win. Enciso, Mintoma, and maybe even Pedro all scoring. I think it's just going to be an absolutely dominant display by the Zerbi's men. Hoping that Luton can kind of, if Luton manages to stay up, I'm going to be absolutely enthralled because they are a team that really has come from nothing, and now they're in the Premier League, so we'll see how they get on. Next up, Everton versus Fulham. This has 0-0 just written all over it. I don't really fancy Everton at all this season. I don't like the business that they've done. Fulham, questionable business as well, but they have, I guess, what's his face? Raul Jimenez they signed. But at the end of the day, is it going to be enough? I don't know. 0-0 just screams this fixture for me. I just can't help but think that this game is going to be one of the most boring games of the weekend. So 0-0 for Fulham and Everton. Next up, Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace will win 1-0. Probably see a goal from someone like Edouard or Mateta. Let's say Edouard scores. But yeah, I think this game will be just okay. Nothing really to write home about. I think Sheffield's going to have a really harsh season. So yeah. Next up, Newcastle and Aston Villa. By the way, if I haven't mentioned already on the channel, or if you're new to the channel, I will be streaming the first game of the season, which is Burnley versus Manchester City. I will also be streaming Newcastle versus Aston Villa. I think this is going to be an awesome affair. Villa has really upgraded this season, brought in the likes of Musa Diaby, Pau Torres. They look like a really proper squad now. And Emery's at the wheel. Newcastle, you know, they have Sandro Tonali, which is immediately an amazing transfer. They signed Harvey Barnes. They lost St. Maximin. It's going to be a bit of a transitionary period for Newcastle, I think, just at the start. And I feel like this game is going to finish 2-2, I'll say. I'll say 2-2. We'll see probably Isak and maybe Almiron score for Newcastle. And I'll say that Watkins and let's say Jacob Ramsey score for Aston Villa. So 2-2, Newcastle v Villa. Next up, we have Brentford hosting Tottenham. I think this game will finish 2-1 to Spurs. I think Spurs will probably get the win here. Could maybe see someone like Mbeumo scoring for Brentford. For Spurs, let's say it's Son and Kulusevski getting on the score sheet. So I think this game will be fun. I think Ange is going to really do some good things at Tottenham this season. I really like the appointment. I like a lot of the business that they've been doing. We'll see how this game fares, but I think this could be a really exciting game to keep an eye out for. Next up, the big one of the weekend, I'd say the biggest game of the weekend, Chelsea v Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. Obviously, a lot of rumors about Romeo Lavia. Will he go to Liverpool? Will he go to Chelsea? He looks to be leaving Southampton at this point. And honestly, this game I swing back and forth on quite a bit. If you look at the squads here, like this defense isn't terrible by any stretch of the imagination. Neither midfield is really all that great. I'd say that Liverpool probably has the better midfielders in the sense that, sure, Enzo is a quality midfielder, but you're looking at like central midfield depth. You have Enzo, you have Conor Gallagher, you have Carney who could play a little forward, Andre Santos. I don't know. I feel like Liverpool's midfield, even despite it lacking like a lot of defensive cover, I still think it's slightly better than Chelsea's. And then forward wise, I think Liverpool has that wrapped up, especially with Christopher Nkunku being out with a prolonged knee injury. Nicholas Jackson, though, keep an eye out for him. I think he's going to be a threat. I'm gonna predict a 2-1 Liverpool win at the Bridge. Cody Gakpo scoring for Liverpool and Mohamed Salah scoring for Liverpool. And for Chelsea, I think Jackson will get a goal. Either Jackson or Mudryk, but I'm leaning towards Jackson. I think he's going to really impress on his debut at Stamford Bridge. And finally, Manchester United versus Wolves. This is going to be like, honestly, like a shellacking. I think United is absolutely going to mop the floor with Wolves. Wolves just sacked Julian Lopetegui. Going from a former Real Madrid coach to a former Bournemouth coach is not a good look, Wolves. I'm going to guess that this game ends 5-0. I'm saying it, 5-0. We'll see Marcus Rashford get a brace. We'll see maybe someone like Antony get a goal. Fernandez will score like a penalty or a free kick or something. So that's 4. And then let's say, I don't know who the last one would be, but I'm just going to guess Mason Mount gets a goal somehow as well. So yeah, that is my predictions for the first match week, game week, whatever you want to call it, for the 23-24 Premier League season. Comment down below, what are your predictions for the fixtures this upcoming weekend? Please sound off in the comments. I want to hear some lively discussion surrounding this. I will have my reactions to my predictions and just a general recap once the match week's over. So sometime late Monday, Eastern time, a video will go up where I just kind of cover all of the 10 fixtures from this past weekend and just give you my thoughts, see how I did, and we'll go from there. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, consider giving it a like. Consider subscribing to stay tuned for all your latest and up-to-date Premier League, football, and general content surrounding all things footy. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm Sideline Sato. Peace.